Alright, welcome back to more Monster Hunter 1 Town Quests. We are in a new rank, and that means we can actually fight the creatures that the game is named after. Never mind. We won't be doing— why? What are we doing here? I know I've said this like every single time, but really? Seriously? Oh, and this is in the jungle. How great. This is new. And there's more powder stones. What is the point? What's the point of all of this? I've shown you I can deliver 3 powder stones. I have the funny item that lets me run. Okay, well that's a start. That's just great. That's just great. What do I even do here? I just take out the dash juices. I don't even remember how to make them. Okay. What is it? Honey rare steak? No, not honey. It's gonna be like a catalyst or something, right? I can buy catalysts. Let me try to figure that out. I may need the combo materials. At the time of recording this, I know this is out of the blue and weird. I don't normally talk about current events. It has nothing to do with like real world stuff. Wild's got its expansion announced, not today. It's actually been a few days. I normally don't comment on things like that, but most of the time I don't do it because I'm not really I don't get overly hyped about anything too often at the very least, so there's not really much to say. But that happens. It's whatever. You're just gonna combine those for me. I need a catalyst. That's cool and all. Today, though, actually, there was a Nintendo thing. And a lot of people are not happy. As for myself, I just don't care. I thought it looked fine. I'm more interested in seeing how other people react. So, well, I'm not interested if people are just gonna gripe and complain all the time. That's just kind of boring. But, well, and then you have— I like balance. I really do like balance. Because then you have the other side where people aren't really actually invested. It all feels fake. And then you have like the brainwashed folks. You have all that fun stuff. But it was fine. It was whatever. Again, I don't— as you can probably tell from this VOD channel, I don't play very many games. I don't have time to. I have about 4 hours a day, and the idea I like to try to do is I record in the evening, and then I go to bed and record in the morning. However, it's hard to get me out of the bed in the morning. Granted, it's like incredibly early, like before 6 o'clock in the morning that I try to get up, but still, I like to try to do that, and half the time I don't actually end up recording because I want to sleep more. And it is my fault because I try to push myself and not get full 8 hours and all that fun stuff, but that's just how it happens sometimes. I don't even know how many books I need for that. But, you know, there are games I'd like to play. Look, the only game that I'm interested in, obviously things change, was the Zelda game. And honestly, I was kind of expecting that art style. You have no idea about any of this, you're just like, I don't care. But I was expecting that. Not that it's my favorite kind of art style, but look, it's like 30 seconds. You can't decide and make judgments before the time, right? So I'm not gonna do that. I'm always cautiously optimistic about everything. And I can't be upset whenever something turns bad, and I will be very happy if it turns out even mediocre. Like with this game. This game is great. I get very upset with it at times. But I keep my expectations low and just come in and try to enjoy it for what it is. That doesn't mean I don't love— or I do love everything. I'm rambling. I need to figure out. I'm very bad at this multitasking thing. We're just gonna do this. This is in the jungle. I don't need anything. I guess extra stamina would be nice, but I'm using dash juices anyways. I don't love every game, obviously. Like I said before, one game I'm interested in. That's just because it's a game I've played many times before. It's Zelda. It's Ocarina of Time. You know? But I don't know if it was Wilds that just kind of tranquilized me or whatever, but just like, I can spend precious energy in my life being upset about every single thing that happens. Or I cannot spend that energy and focus on like doing my jobs and things like that. And just trying to find fun in things. And I think that works quite well. Again, if you watched any of this, why am I looking at my gear? I don't know what I'm doing. I have no idea where the eggs are at either. But if you've watched this series in particular for even a decent amount of time, you know that I can get upset with things. If you've watched Splatoon, I can get upset with things. Not that I played much on this particular channel. If you've watched Pokemon, you can tell I get upset with things. But that's either played up, or you take a few deep breaths and you let it pass. And you forget about it. Maybe it's just because I'm not as invested. There's no eggs here. And there's that snake. I do not like the snake. I'd say I'm pretty invested. It's just I can only invest into so many things, so I choose wisely, I guess, or I'm very scrupulous in what I invest in. And honestly, look, not interested in hardly anything that the Direct had, but what cool games are announced. I mean, over this entire week, again, dating the video quite nicely, it'll be probably at least a month before this gets put out there. But still, I feel like people are jaded, and I understand. It's easy to get jaded. I got jaded with Wilds. Still ain't, you know, super excited about Wilds or anything, but it is what it is, right? And I'm not saying that, you know, oh, you can never have a negative opinion on something, or oh, you can never be incredibly positive. You just have to be neutral, never show any emotion. That's not what I'm saying. What is that noise? There is an awful noise I'm hearing. Sounds like a monster moving. But balance is important. No one likes someone who never criticizes anything, in the sense that you treat it like it's a god. On the other hand, no one likes it when someone needlessly criticizes something that they already know you don't like, when what has been said about it has been said, and you just keep saying, same thing over and over and over. Like, we get it. Okay. And it's all about opinions, right? That's what it is. Is it like in the mountaintop area? That would be a weird place to have it. I don't know where else this would be. Okay. Anyways, back to the main topic, I guess. I am not a fan of raw tomatoes. I know, call me a child, whatever you want to say. Raw tomatoes are not my jam. I've tried them. Very few times have I actually enjoyed them. I could maybe count on my hand the amount of times I've enjoyed it. Like one time was at like a sandwich shop, sandwich restaurant. Okay, that goes pretty good on the sandwich. I normally take them off. I tried it with it on there. It's like, hey, that's pretty good. Most of the time, not a tomato guy. I avoid making it in my meals. If I do end up making it, pasta sauce is fine. Even chunky pasta sauce, I'm a little okay with. Don't really like it in chili. Fine with salsa for whatever reason, but I think that's just because there's a lot of other stuff in it. Fine with green tomatoes, just normal red tomatoes. But I ain't gonna eat a tomato and say that's a bad tomato when everyone else says these are the best tomatoes. You get like a glowing red tomato. That's beautiful and very good. Is it up here? That's a weird spot for eggs. Okay. I'm not gonna say this is a bad tomato. I already know I don't like tomatoes. And I'm not gonna make an objective claim on something that's an opinion. Say, this tomato isn't for me, or I don't like this tomato. You know, or even something that you do like. There may be a particular cut of beef that you like. But that doesn't mean you're gonna say, well, this is a bad cut of beef. I'm gonna say, I don't like this particular cut of beef. You know, not that things cannot be objectively bad. There are these burgers that I've tried before, and I think those are probably really bad burgers, but in my opinion, they're really bad burgers. Like, incredibly cheap. They're not really hamburger patties. They're like made with something else. There's beef in it, but they kind of fall apart. They stink up the whole house when you cook them on like an indoor grill or something like that. Tastes awful, overly salty. Have a feeling not a lot of people are gonna like them. They're made to be cheap, and that's their purpose. I'd rather spend the extra money and enjoy a good burger than have whatever that is. But not most things are not that way. You know, you lose balance, I guess. You lose, okay, what is this? You know what, I'm just gonna drop this and drink my juice because I forgot about that. I'm trying to think of a game that I've played before that I don't like, but I ain't gonna call it back. Oh, I've played Elden Ring before. You know what? How I felt every time I played Elden Ring? I wish I were playing Monster Hunter. So I dropped the game. Exploration was kind of fun, but I didn't like the combat. Just wasn't my cup of tea. The arrogance I would have to say that Elden Ring is a bad game, which you know people do. You can call it garbage, or people love to add the word slop to the end of things, or the beginning of things sometimes. It's like, I'm not a fool. I'm not gonna call it garbage. It's just not my thing. It is a tomato. I don't like tomatoes. I will not eat tomatoes. Unless, you know, you make it in a way I like it, I guess. But that's kind of the whole point. I'm not paying attention in the slightest to this game. I think I can rush through here, but it'll take some trial and error. I can always abandon. You know, you may not like how the game looks. Look, we're talking about Zelda, but I think the point still stands for just like showcases in general. Is there another one over there? Is he's hiding? Okay, one shook his head, so he's gonna dash quickly. I mean, yeah, as long as I can run, I'm fine. But I remember back when Link's Awakening came out for Switch, people didn't like the art style. Like, okay, you can not like the art style, that's fine, but to call it garbage? I mean, I guess we're like literally taking the term one man's trash is another man's treasure and like applying it there, but I don't know. And again, maybe I'm just too disconnected from it, but I've put, what, 90 hours into this game? I've been playing Pokemon Yellow quite a bit. I've been enjoying that quite a lot. And I guess all of my tastes are invalid because I enjoy a Pokemon game, which are all garbage, apparently. I mean, seriously, you're allowed to not like Pokemon, but calling the tomato garbage, when it's not garbage, there are people who like it. You know what? Some people like bad things. That's fine. Something can be bad, and we're not even, this isn't morals. This isn't truth. This is just opinion. You know what? In my opinion, this game may be garbage, but you have to frame it that way. I don't know. You have to assume everyone frames it that way, but some people don't. A lot of people don't, actually. People like to just put their opinion out there and speak as if they are the end-all be-all on all opinions. But you gotta have balance. Does that make sense? I don't know. I just rambled. Okay, well, I'm not focusing very well. And I understand people may disagree with me. Look, Direct, again, if I can say this plenty of times, did not have hardly anything I was interested in. Had some... what is this? Okay, there's a rock in the way. I can leave, actually. Somehow did not register that rock before. But again, there was cool stuff there. There was cute, I guess, stuff there. I mean, that's a little condescending, but, you know, like, I have no interest in this, but I'm sure there are people who will really like this. And I know, oh my goodness, the internet is not the place to go for agreeing with people. I understand that entirely. I'm gonna go ahead and abandon here. I think I already know the point of this. I'm gonna actually walk back out and see if there's a rock over here or not. There is a Los, or Rathian. Los may not be able to appear here. She may just be constantly flying over here. Okay, so I know I can just do that when I need to. I mean, even over the course of the week, there have been a lot of showcases with cool things that I have no particular interest in whatsoever, but I'm putting an awful lot of weight, in my opinion, to say, well, that was just garbage. When I can clearly see there are people that don't think that way, that are not just saying it to say it and they don't actually feel that way, which you can't really tell. Someone may be excited for every single thing. Oh yeah, I can't just do this. Is this the volcano? It is. That's fine. We'll just keep going. So I'm not going to call someone a shill or whatever you want to call them, a sellout. Unless they like actually say that, or it is 100% undeniable. But how I feel about the person in particular is not 100% undeniable. I don't know everything. But I guess we like to take things out of context, don't we? And I get it. Look, I'm sharing my opinion, right? I'm actually kind of surprised that gives you a bar of stamina. Why did I drink that? Doesn't matter. Got a lot of good monsters here. And again, maybe this game has just killed any sense of particularity? Is that the word for it? Because I don't get to pick and choose in this game. I have to do it, and I have to find a way to do it. You know, I can choose like the weapon I use, but that doesn't help whenever I'm having to constantly just pick up eggs and run them back through a gauntlet of challenges. Let me think of an actual, like, generally, you know, the only way you can objectively, in quote, say something is bad is if the general consensus is that it's bad. But, okay, Sonic 06. Never played it. Seen a lot about it. It's kind of hard to be on the internet for a while and not know anything about it, I guess, depending on what circles you're in. You can say that is an objectively bad game. Doesn't mean some people aren't going to enjoy it. Just means that you can say it's objectively bad. However, I'm not gonna go out of my way to trash on people and treat people like garbage who find it fun. Is this gonna burn me? It will not, because I have a cool drink. That's kind of cool. I don't think that happens in future entries, but maybe it does. I don't feel like I'm obligated to support a franchise or anything like that. I buy Monster Hunter games because I like Monster Hunter, even with Wilds. You know, I didn't like the particular direction it went at all, really, but I'd like to see it get better. I want to see what the game does. I like it enough to actually buy the game, buy it at full price. I will buy the expansion when it comes out at full price. Okay, we are starting this early. I can just kind of weave though, can't I? I am not putting my best effort into this. Problem is, this is such a wide zone. This is awful. You know what? That's my bad. I should have drunk that before I picked the item up. I said that before though. Again, maybe my bar is just so low, but I don't feel like I deserve to have a bar any higher. I'm gonna look and see what's fun. Oh no. Your roar covers the entire zone, doesn't it? No, it doesn't. Okay, we're good. And your charges are very slow. Problem is we have Bullfingo in here. The camera is not being friendly. He's just doing the menacing wall. Okay, camera. Thank you, camera. You are so wonderful. That is an objectively bad camera. I don't think I know anyone who actually likes that camera. You can tolerate it, of course. Kind of have to if you're going to play the game for 100 hours, but I just don't see anyone who says maybe. There are some people. I mean, yes, it's funny sometimes, but doesn't mean it's good. Like a cat jumping and missing wherever it was trying to jump and like hitting itself in the head. May be funny, but that doesn't mean it's good. And just like sliding off of a rooftop or something. It's like, that's not good, but it is kind of funny. You know, there's a difference. And whether something is funny or not, you know, there's also the difference of whether you should laugh or not. And I guess that depends on the context. What am I doing? I'm abandoning this quest. I mean, that's what slapstick is, isn't it? Granted, mostly cartoony. No one actually gets hurt, but it's a classic. Oh, Rathalos is clear. Okay, that's cool. I'm sure there's another one, though. Here's another game. Tears of the Kingdom. My current, I guess, feelings towards the game, as I'm searching them, are not that fond, but in the same way that you don't really, I don't know, this isn't a universal thing, but if you've played Gen 7 Pokemon, you have Pokemon Sun and Moon, then you have Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. If you play those games back to back, you're not going to like Gen 7, you're not going to want it, but that's like eating a feast, eating another feast, and then saying, oh, I don't like that. Well, no, it's not that it's bad. Probably a very high quality feast, but it's too similar too early. You need a palate cleanser. You need to rest, not eat that much. Come back fresh with it. But when it's a 100-hour minimum feast, it's gonna take a little bit of time, at least a couple of years, if not more. Because you have this feast, and then you have this feast, which is slightly different, but still mostly the same, with a couple of extras. So now you have even more, but some things are taken out. So now you're constantly comparing the two. Instead of judging the one by its own merit, you are judging, well, this was better, so I don't actually like this. No, you like this, it's just, it's too soon after the first course. Which is an entire feast, if you're following the analogy here. And don't get me wrong, I'll admit it. I was pretty quick to just really not like Wilds. You know, I had a fun enough time playing through the game to at the very least stick with it for a while, but as of right now, I really don't have a want or a need to go back to it. But that's because I'm busy with this game, which is not really similar at all other than some general concepts. But I was very quick to just be like, well, I don't like this, and I hate it, and it's bad, and doom and gloom. But the more of that I saw, the more I tried to take a step back and say, hey, I'm being a little unbalanced here. I don't like what the game did. And I still don't like what the game did. But to get depressed over it, it's just a little much. You know, I love Monster Hunter, but I haven't seen Prowler in a while, and you may be saying, well, that's so niche, you shouldn't expect that. And you know what? Fair. That's fine. If I were only playing it for Prowler, I wouldn't be doing this to myself. But I don't know. Just the extremeness of it is what I feel bugs me. Because you have people saying, oh, that was the worst showcase ever. By what measure? By what standard? Games you like? Well, what were you expecting? Everything you liked? I highly doubt that, and if you did, well, I guess you gotta learn sometime. Why are you here? Okay, you're probably here now because I came a little slower. I'm gonna try to be quiet while I do this. Please tackle. He's gonna just walk up to me and growl. I do kind of like how the, I guess, light reflects off of his body. There is some form of lighting here. It's kind of cool. It's very different. Destroy them, please. Okay, that ain't destroying. Wonderful. I'm starting to wonder if a hunting quest would not be better for my rambling. You know, Tears of the Kingdom, great game. It's a great game. I cannot deny that. I just didn't have the best experience with it. I put many hours into it, but the quality of the hours I put into the game were not as high as... Why is there another Cephadrome? They were not as high as Breath of the Wild. I played through that game twice, and that probably contributed to me not liking Tears of the Kingdom as much. But I'm not going to say it's a bad game. I just can't. The bones are good. You have good concepts there. Some things are fun. Some things take away from the experience, as I am now learning with Wilds how that is possible. You know, you can add too much of something and make it watered down, so to speak. But it's not a bad game. Now, okay. Again, by what measure are you judging this? If you're judging it by price, that's a fine measure. Again, I don't think you can call something garbage. A steak may be $100. Doesn't mean it's a bad steak, but for the money, you may not find a lot of value out of it. Opinions, right? But to say that someone is eating a parse or a subpar steak for $50 and say, well, you're dumb, and we're going to use all the expletives and just the harshest language we can, because I guess it's the internet and we can, we're going to do it. No one's going to tell me otherwise. I guess I've just dropped my expectations so low. And you know, you can say that's a bad thing. It should never get that low. I just don't think I need to be catered to. When I go to a restaurant, I choose a restaurant either based on whoever around me chooses or what I want. I don't go to McDonald's when I want a pizza. Some people don't go to McDonald's at all. They will say it's garbage. And they will say that it is objectively garbage. And if you eat McDonald's, you like garbage, right? That's the insinuation that some people would just come out and say. I can't change your opinion. I maybe can sway your feelings on the matter by what I say, but ultimately that's going to be you changing your opinion. If we're just like dealing with a base physical level of things. Okay, good job. I didn't think I was moving that much. You really like that corner, don't you? Words have kind of lost their meaning, I guess. You know, when we say something's bad, but it actually means I'm mildly displeased with this, or it's just not my thing. I guess it's just what gets the clicks, right? Oh, there's a Plesioth here. Well, that's nice. Well, as long as you stay in your domain. Okay, you're not staying in your domain. You may take some good water damage. You're not aiming at him, though. I did get my supplies. Run. Oh, I should paintball you, right? Don't die. Look at me thinking it's an egg quest and I don't have to take anything. Even though I probably still should. Why is that just a dot? I guess it's because it's a bird wyvern. I'm so used to not paintballing them. They're not a bird wyvern, but a raptor wyvern. It's not an official term. Just, it's a skeleton. I mean, you can call Monster Hunter 1 bad. You know what? I'll respect that. I respect that opinion. It's fine. It's not the best thing in the world, but I ain't gonna call it bad. Just a little dirty, unpolished pearl. There's some good things in there, but you may not want to work to get it. You may not have time to get all that work out, you know, to get it, I guess. You may not like pizza. I hate it. Gives me heartburn. Taste isn't good either. I don't like the cheese on it. I'll just say, I don't know who doesn't like cheese, but like, I'm not even talking like medically. They don't, their body doesn't like cheese. I mean, like, taste wise, you know. That's fine. You know, I'm not gonna say, well, if you don't like this pizza, any pizza, we cannot share civility. Then there's the other side, which is like, there's a sense of civility, but there's not actually. Like, one side's being civil. They're either being positive about a game and not letting you ever be negative about something, or there's being negative about a game and never letting you be positive. While the other side just kind of takes it. Again, I guess it's just something that comes with age. Learning that not everything is life and death. Chunky hit leg. You know what? I think he has enough health to where he's not flying back. I guess that is Eardrum's thing, though. Oh, thank you for finishing him off for me. Yeah, an overhead swing didn't even kill this guy. You know what? Prowlers, I was talking about earlier, but that's a very niche weapon for people to even like. I know most people are neutral towards it, but they don't like playing it. But then, you know, you get the, well, this doesn't deal the highest DPS damage, even though it's fine. You know, it's not like you're using shelling only gunlets in Monster Hunter Freedom Unite. In G rank. Maybe fine in low rank, but those shells don't scale. Where are you gonna spawn? I guess I should bring Psycho Serum for that. A weapon can be objectively the worst weapon. It can be objectively bad. It can be a weapon that you can't even kill a Kut-Ku in 50 minutes with. Fully maxed out. Not sure what the purpose of that would be, but a lot of times, objectively bad and worst garbage are just used for things that just extremes. We love extremes, I guess. And we love reacting to extremes. I get it. I understand it entirely. I used to like that too. But, and even then, now I'll go down the rabbit trail of arguments and comments. Even though I know after the fact I'm just gonna feel worse. I feel like you can gain some civility just by phrasing things better and not just speaking the first thing that comes to mind. That's more boring, I know. You get more centrist, I guess, opinions. With nothing to do with politics, by the way. Just gaming. That's a can of worms I'm not gonna open. Pretty much the only thing I will get excited over, really even excited, but I guess slightly happy over are like Monster Hunter announcements. And even then, like I said earlier, I just am not that, interested in Wilds. That's okay. I can be that way. I'm not going to call it a bad game. It's a fine game. It does, I'm sure, what they set out to do. Sure, performance is bad. Like, you can measure that and say it's bad, but again, by what measure? By its peers, games that have come out, maybe, but aren't there a lot of poorly optimized games nowadays? Games of yesteryear, what did those games try to do versus what did this game try to do, and how did it manage? And did it make good use? Like, so there's like at least 10 monsters on the map at a time. Did the game make good use of it? Some people will say yes. I think more people would say no. Really depends on, what you enjoy, but that's the thing. Not every game is for me. I ain't gonna get upset if there's a game. There's tons of games. There's more games that are not for me than there are games that are for me. And I'm fine with that. I'm gonna look for games that I like. And maybe there's just that time element, I spent an hour watching this thing, and not a single thing on here is something I cared about. You can feel cheated out of your time, but if I really felt that way about it, I feel like I would just stop watching them and like go through the highlights. Not the highlights, but like the videos that they upload right after. It's really hard to avoid spoilers. Did I not get anything? Oh my goodness, where did I go? What did I do? I have nothing. What did I grab? What did I do? Genuine question. I slept in the bed, didn't I? I gotta learn how to do this at some point, this multitasking thing. But I feel like the constant struggle between, oh, you like this game for the wrong reasons. You shouldn't like this game because I don't like this game. Reasons X, Y, and Z. Versus, oh, well, you don't enjoy this game because you're not trying to enjoy it for the right reasons. You should like it for X, Y, Z. Again, two sides of the same coin. Where did he go? No one's gonna complain if you say, I like this. Well, okay, nope. Sorry. Again, internet. People will complain, but no one with, I guess, a valued opinion. Some people you just gotta tune out. Are gonna complain if you say, I like this game for this reason. Now they may reply with, well, I understand that, but I don't like this game for this reason. That's what it's called, a discussion. Or just posting your opinion. But saying, oh, I like Monster Hunter Wilds because of how smooth the combat is. And the monsters after the updates are so fun, or I can actually beat the game. And then you have people saying, well, that's not how it's supposed to be. Instead of, well, I appreciate the older games because you have to put a lot more thought into it. And then you have the other side of it where the other person replies, well, that's dumb, it's clunky, all that. I don't know. It's so tiring. Because it's not, I don't have an issue with you talking about the game. Look, people hate Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl. I have a feeling a lot of the hate is just from it not being the game they wanted it to be. So they feel like it's soiling the game's legacy. I'd like it if the, original game were playable on any modern kind of platform. I know dual screen games and all that. I didn't get rations. What is this? What am I doing to myself? Where did he even go? I guess he went to the northern area. Either that or he went to this cave. But I did a playthrough, Turtwig only. It was one of the starters, if you don't know. And again, this is kind of bad. I'm talking about Pokemon and Monster Hunter and, Pokemon's fairly common. I think it's a bit more niche to talk about Monster Hunter during Pokemon because they're not niche. I do it quite a bit, but it's more confusing. But game's fine. Is it worth $60? As always, that depends on who you are. For me, I bought Diamond. Why did I bring all of this? I'm not thinking today. We're just... This is... Okay, if you don't understand why people play games poorly when they're trying to talk and converse, this is why you just lose any sense of thought. So, while this may be more interesting or more enraging, I guess engaging, certainly motor skills have gone out the window. Because I've taken 15 minutes, this should take maybe more than 10, slightly. But I think it's a fine game. Expensive, for sure. You can buy a used copy for not as much. Though, with Pokemon games, that doesn't last for very long, does it? Before the used copies start getting to be more than the game sold for retail. But that doesn't really start happening until after they stop selling the original game. Like, I got Pokemon Scarlet for $30. I don't even think I paid that much for it. It's like 25 used, complete in box. And the Japanese versions of the game are even cheaper. Since you can, set it to English. Literally doesn't matter other than the box art, maybe the title screen. And sure, games are very glitchy and buggy. Understandable. I can understand someone being upset if they paid $70 for a video game that crashed constantly. Monster Hunter. Remember, we had that whole thing. I didn't deal with it that much. I have a strong enough computer. I've been blessed with that. But I can completely understand someone being upset about the game not really working that well. Especially if you buy it in a place where you can't refund it. And you can say, well, you should have done more research. Maybe they should have, but that doesn't change the fact that the game does run kind of poorly. Not really as much anymore. You can get, like, it to work on handheld systems. Not like, I don't know, we'll see how the Switch 2 version of the game fares, but like on handheld PCs, it's fine. It does what a handheld console should do. Higher resolution at 30 FPS or lower resolution at 60, that's fine. And maybe this is where my complacency with Monster Hunter 1 graphics being perfectly acceptable probably are not good. I like game style as opposed to like graphical fidelity. Not that I hate graphical games that have good graphics, but I don't need them. Much like how I don't need a story in Monster Hunter, it's nice to have it. It's a cherry on top. If you focus solely on the story and it's not a fun game, it's just a slug to get through, I'm probably not gonna like it very much. What are you doing? You're scaring me. I don't want to look at this anymore. Because I know I'm going to have to fight you at some point. And that's going to be fun. I think it's important to also experience both sides of the spectrum. You know, really loving a game that people don't like and really not liking a game that people do like. Experience is incredibly important. And when you speak without experience, in an objective sense, you do kind of look kind of silly later on when, oh, I changed my opinion, instead of taking a more reserved opinion. It makes people really mad when you switch your opinion on something later that they liked you for, I guess. Not that you really like people, like, you don't really know people, but this isn't making any sense. I think I've got my point through enough. Maybe. And if not, leave a comment below stating your opinions on the subject. Don't forget to smash the like button and hit that bell. Ugh. I don't have an issue with people saying that, but it is... it's a fun caricature to take and make. You gotta do what you gotta do. But it is kind of funny. Where is this monster? I don't even know where he can go. Wait, maybe I hear him. Either that or that was just a deep call from the small monsters part. Goodness, this has already been an hour in. I guess time flies when you're really having a lot of fun. Where you at, buddy? Is that him? Yay. Guess I should just chop him. That is dealing enough damage. Is this going to bounce? It shouldn't. This is a giant... Okay, it is. It is. However, that's kind of a neat combo. Bounce into chop. Thank you for blocking the poison, I guess. Let's talk about more things I don't like, so I don't just appear as someone who's always happy, I guess. Not that, again, I don't want to be like I'm not content. I am perfectly content. just have opinions. Again, tomato analogy. I just avoid tomatoes. Problem solved. And even when I can't avoid tomatoes, I will make as much good out of the situation that I can. I don't like Clutch Claw. Not fun. I didn't like how long the fights took in Iceborne. This is going off of a memory. I have not played Iceborne content in a very long time, and probably the last time I played it was with Fatalis gear, which is not a good representation of the actual balancing of the game. But from what I remember, fights took too long. It was mostly just clutching onto the monster, finding an opening to do that, and either tenderizing or doing the agitator strat of knocking it into a wall twice and making it angry, or just clutching it twice, and that would do it. Clutch attack. I didn't like the way the game was balanced around that. A lot of hit zones were dropped. In Master Rank, I think specifically, I hardly ever actually played Base World. I actually played it on Xbox. Completely solo. Gee, nothing's changed, has it? And I played for what, maybe 2 weeks, something like that. I played enough to like get the Deviljho Lance because I knew that was an okay one. Because the guides online told me so it must be true, right? But that was all of base world that you get without Iceborne. And then after that you had the weakness exploit nerf, which I don't think weakness exploit being not a meta option without tenderizing, being like 30%. I don't think that's necessarily a bad game. It just depends on what context it's in. There is no weakness exploit in this game. Is there even affinity in this game? I don't think so. It doesn't seem to be the case. You know what? The game is balanced around it, and it does just fine. Biggest issue with this game is just a real genuine hate for the players. Not in like the spiteful sense, but just like, hey, let's make a game that will make you upset. I don't like focus mode either. Focus mode just doesn't do it for me. However, do I have some fun with it? Sure. But that's like having a massive cup, I guess a cup of an extra large serving of ice cream. Oh, it's gonna taste good. You're gonna regret it later, and probably not want to do that again. At least until you kind of forget about it. But if it's constantly brought up, you're gonna keep remembering. You're gonna say, "I don't like that. I don't want to do it." So the focus mode is fun, but it's just a little too much sweetness. To the point where everything else feels watered down in the game. Well, not really everything else, but anything tied to that mechanic is watered down. Wounding is a really cool idea. I would have liked, or not liked, but thought of something in a way of using wounding, but as like if Prowler ever came back, as a Prowler specific move, or a weapon specific move that a weapon itself has. So you can use it, and that's the weapon's gimmick. I should really sell this stuff. So when you want to play Greatsword, you get Greatsword, but when you want to play Magnet Spike, you get Tenderizing, and that's part of the weapon's identity. Or when you play Prowler, you can attach a Tenderizing support move, or even like a skill attacking a certain body part enough times, which is what they did with Wilds. They made it universal, but it's attacking. It's not doing this particular thing that feels kind of slow and clunky. I have a feeling this jungle one's going to be easier. I think wounding as a concept is pretty cool, and how they implemented it was not as cool. But you can fix that. I think that can be fixed perfectly fine. I think this game would be, Monster Hunter 1 could be really interested with that type of mechanic. Attacking the legs to weaken the legs, and that's kind of a mechanic. More, less, I guess, specifically a mechanic and more just how the game is designed. Sometimes you attack a part enough times, you break it, it has a better hit zone. Sometimes it gets a worse hit zone if it's like a really good part. But that tied with wounding and then wound strikes, which take it a little bit too far, made it very silly. But even the base balancing of the game, just, in my opinion, again, let me make this clear. This is not, oh, this is objectively bad, and if you like it, you're bad for liking it. I will say this wholeheartedly. It ain't for me. I don't like it. I don't have to say that I like it. And I guess the pressure of not having to like something helps being taken off, right? Or having to like something. Pressure of having to like something to appear cool or popular is the thing. And I understand a lot of people are under that pressure. You know, I fall under it too sometimes, and I succumb to it. It ain't perfect. No one is. What am I doing? Okay, we're grabbing eggs. That's all I have to do. I'm gonna kill the Bullfango and see if that works instead of just brute forcing. I'm not gonna attack the Bullfango if they're already here though. Wilds is a fine game. I got my money's worth out of it. I had fun with it. If I didn't have fun with it, I wouldn't have played it for as long as I have. But again, like I said before, quality of hours is important, you know. I'm going to end up liking something better that I had more quality hours in. Why are you here? No. What are you doing here? I don't want to fight you. I wonder if she enrages immediately or not. Generations Ultimate, I guess some Generations as well. Maybe my favorite game of all time. But that doesn't mean everything is great about it. I don't necessarily believe that we always need to have Hunter Arts. Hunter Arts are cool. They do a pretty good job. They're pretty fun, but I don't think you always need that. You know, I don't think my preferred Monster Hunter game would even necessarily have them. I don't know, I haven't really thought about that, but it helps spice it up a little bit. I don't think it makes the game too easy, and I think they balanced it around those particular moves without hiking the numbers up to 1,000. Doubling the speed, tripling the attack. Yes, I know EX deviants exist. I have fought them all. But even then, they're not that fast. They still play by the rules, even if they are very brutal. Also, another completely unrelated topic, but I don't like it when iframes are required in a fight. Or blocking, I guess, are required. I like it, like in this game. Now, sometimes just things are unavoidable. I'm not talking about that. Yeah, iframes aren't required because you can't avoid it, but blocking, I guess, would be required to avoid something in particular. I don't like that. You know, I like... Are they just spawning infinitely? Okay, well, I guess this is a Bullfango farm. I guess they're really just trying to discourage you from coming this way. Oh well. I will say this, talking does definitely help you not get too angry at the game, because you're not really entirely focused on it. You know, sidestepping something like a tail sweep, if it's actually avoidable, is fun. It's nice. It's an option, but you don't always have to do that. Say with Kutku, you can step in under his tail sweeps, as long as you know it's coming, or at the very least you prepare for it to come. Mainly you're going to be like attacking on the side that he doesn't start with, and then rolling the second one as it comes out, or rolling before it happens. Rolling isn't iframes. Rolling is positioning. There are iframes with the roll that you can use as a positioning tool to position yourself out of the way once your iframes work. How did I get this egg out of here? Come here, get over here in this corner. I guess I could try to find some flash bombs. And I don't think too often, even in wilds, iframes are required. They're not required. But when you lean on iframes as your main thing, I guess. Like, sure, you don't have to use iframes, but it's gonna feel pretty bad. There's a balance. So that's why it's called balancing. You don't want it to be scoped too far in one direction. And again, no one's perfect. No developer team is perfect. Even if you believe they are, they're not. They have shortcomings. And it's easy, if you're working on something 5 years plus, to lose sight of particular things in balancing. That's why you have playtesters and things like that. I think that's kind of the point. You lose sight of certain glitches that are possible or things like that. So you get another perspective on the issue. One of the biggest things that confuses me, I guess, you could say upsets, in like the literal sense of that. I guess something's going smoothly and then it changes course. Like in a sports game, an upset is when the lower team scores like a bunch of points at once or something like that. Major upset, like that, is when I see someone as having a certain opinion and they don't actually have that opinion. This is awful. I can do this better, I promise. But I'm not upset at the person having the opinion. It's more that I'm upset that I had this idea that they had a particularly different opinion. Little confused, little dumbfounded. But that's why you don't just assume something just because you have figured it in your head. Oh, this person talks like they enjoy this game. Well, they may have just enjoyed the experience, but not the game. Something like that. Okay, I think it's time to actually focus and try to get things done. I've gotten one quest finished and it's been an hour. Now, a lot of the egg quests, they are more experimentation. That's kind of normal, but still. Don't have cool drinks. I guess there's just also like a lot of personal feelings involved. Oh, you don't like this game that was my childhood favorite that I have a lot of a connection to. I'm not saying most people are this way. It just depends. Really, it just depends. There's too much variation. But oh, you don't like this game that I hold very near and dear to my heart. Well, they don't have the same connection that you have to it. So them not liking it is not saying anything about you as a person, I guess. Or your taste. Everyone likes some form of quote-unquote garbage. Again, using this term as I think it is used generally. Something that is not well liked. As like a general consensus. So it's a bit hypocritical to say, well, this one is less liked than the one that I like. And it's also self-righteous to say, oh, well, mine's the least liked, so I'm special. It's easy to get into both thinking patterns. That's why you gotta be careful. You know? That's why you say anything in the first place, because you want to try to help someone not fall into that pitfall. Or at least that's what I think. And you know what? A lot of times, someone will say something, and differing perspectives means that someone else understands it a different way. They don't have a good, I guess, hermeneutic. If you don't know what that means, that's your way of interpretation. You don't interpret it, or interpret it. Sorry, I'm adding more endings to words that I really shouldn't be. You don't interpret it in the way that the author or the speaker intended it. What do I have? Okay, these that I did not sell. You instead interpret it through your lens. Well, if someone says something, you have to interpret that, what they meant, through their lens, because that's what they meant. And then you can take that into your understanding of it and see if it holds water. But you got to make sure your lens, I guess, are also correct. Because Wild's case, I can see why people like it. I can see why people don't like it. I don't really understand. I had a point I was trying to go for. I've forgotten it. That powder stone just completely threw me off. Okay, I'm gonna take a deep breath and we're gonna quit talking and try to focus on this. This is a long pathway. I thought it would have ended right where I stopped. It didn't. I remember my point. Okay, well, I can't do anything about that. Sorry. So my point was that you may interpret what someone says incorrectly or what they meant incorrectly, and they may have not even said the full piece that you're judging on. Someone may say, I don't like Iceborne, and someone come away with them saying that as, well, they hate Monster Hunter, or they hate World in particular. When in reality, they just didn't like Clutch Claw, right? That's why it's bad to just make sweeping judgments on things, or I guess judgments is the correct word there, that you don't really know the entire story of. Like, communication is important, but you can't communicate with everyone. You are a human being, you have finite reach. Yes, we have much more reach now in this particular age, but you're still a human. So someone may say they don't like Tears of the Kingdom. That's not a slight against you for liking it. It's like, oh, well, you just like garbage. No, that's not the point. They can say they don't like it. They can say they like it. maybe there's like a fear of missing out. Like, oh, well, I didn't like it. They like it. Now I feel bad because I don't like it. That's not the case either. And again, the amount of effort it takes to enjoy a game may just be too much for some people. That's not something that is necessarily moral, I guess. I mean, it's kind of bad to say I hate all video games when you can't get past, like, title screen. You blame it on the video game. It's like, come on. The tutorial. Like, are you really trying at that point? Again, maybe they are, maybe they aren't. I don't know. It's not... Can I say this enough times? It's not about being opinionated. Please, what do I do here to stop that? Flash you, I guess? I can't flash you if I have a powder stone. Maybe I should do like 2 egg attempts and then do like a hunting quest to cool down. But another thing is, someone may say they like the Clutch Claw. Okay. What a great collection of monsters. We're gonna try the Powder Stone quest again. Now your takeaway may be, and I'm not saying this is someone's actual takeaway, but in this hypothetical situation, your takeaway may be that they love everything about the Clutch Claw, all of the mechanics, everything that comes with it, the weakening of weakness exploit, the higher hit zones, the harder hit zones that you bounce off of more, the slower fights that are actually faster in speed but take longer to complete, the mini game you have to play, all of that. You may take that away, but I don't think you have enough information there. If they say they like Clutch Claw, they may just like the Clutch Claw move. They may like the Lance Clutch Claw move. That may be the only thing they actually like about Clutch Claw, but that may be enough for them to say they like Clutch Claw. I'm loading up on items that I just do not need. Why am I doing this? Autopilot at its finest. You know what? I'm gonna get rid of the map. You know what? Sometimes people say things without really thinking it through. So, is my job to call them out on it and be completely ruthless, or is it to say, hey, you know, I understand that, but here's some reasons that I like Clutch Claw. Not that I like Clutch Claw, but ooh, okay, he moved there, right? There's not 2 of you. No. Nuh-uh. Nah, no. That's not possible. It is possible, but I don't like that idea. There's 2 Gravios. Okay, I think the one just moved perfectly. Yeah, okay, I think it's just the one. Maybe I should, like, enrage him here, or not enrage him, but make him mad. Or not, he's already moved. Okay, great. And you know what? Sometimes, a lot of the time, actually, and probably most times, better just not to say anything at all. Someone may say that they like this game, and then, or not maybe like this game, but like this particular mechanic in a game. You gonna growl or are you just kind of looking around? Okay. They don't think it through. They actually don't like the game in reality. Like, objectively, they don't like the game, but okay. Someone plays a new game. They're in the honeymoon period, right? Then the true test comes after the honeymoon, and they don't end up liking the game. So when they first are starting out and playing the game and they say, oh, I really like this game. It's the best game in the series. Do you come and say, well, no, it's not, and you're not very smart for saying that? Or do you say, or do you just hold your tongue? Right? Hold your tongue. They may change their opinion. Does it matter for them to have the same opinion as you? You may end up liking it quite a bit for whatever particular advantages it has over other games in the series. That's just my experience with it. I used to get heated over things like that. And I look back and I say, I used to do it, but I just don't see the point in it anymore. He says as he gets heated over a particular topic, I guess. I don't know. There's a sense of, I guess, jovialness. I'm talking about it now, but like getting actually angry. And I think something that's helped me is being able to stop when I am and just kind of take a look around and say, wait a second, what am I fighting about? What am I getting heated over? I don't actually end up talking with people at all. It's more or less this argument in my head that gets made. You gotta get like real close to him, don't you? Stop him? Hold on, let's see. That roar won't hit me. Yes. Problem. The further away I get, the more likely his tackle is gonna hit me. So I'm gonna try to... This ain't gonna happen, is it? Maybe... Don't know what that's for. No, why? I guess I don't need to abandon yet. I really should just treat this like I have 5 power juices, use them. You can have some great conversations with people you disagree with. And again, I'm just talking about in the realm of video games. This is all opinion. I can talk with people about how they like tomatoes and I don't like tomatoes. That's perfectly fine. I think that's enough of that conversation. I'm talking to a screen, a little bitty microphone. It's a lot easier to converse with someone when you have someone like shooting messages back to you. That's nice, but can't do that. I mean, you can, but I can't. Unless you like 360p video and audio. Don't roar, please. I'm meeting you on your terms. Don't kick me either, please. Okay. Of course. Alright, what am I thinking? I'm thinking I'm very tired. Okay. We're done with the conversation. I'm gonna focus on actually trying to do things. I've wasted almost 2 hours completing nothing. I'm actually a little upset with myself. I don't really think I should be, but I am. You can tell I've got the talking out of my system. Totally and entirely. I guess it's just that I get so afraid to say anything of any opinionated stance because someone may take it the wrong way, but you gotta get real with that. If we all believed that way, then no one would ever say anything because someone's going to take something wrong and out of context, or even in context, they're just gonna not be charitable in their opinions about video games. Again, keeping this entirely outside of that realm. What do I do with you? Good flinch. I guess I could kill these, right? Have a feel, maybe, okay, maybe I go that way. Maybe I do. Maybe that's the easier path. I'm not playing very well today either, Emma. Ow. Stop. I do not like the tiny little stop that you do when you run out of stamina. If I cart here, I like that they let you abandon whenever you cart. That is nice. They don't let you do that in GU. Probably more modern game, like modern 3 Ultimate. What, 15 years ago now? Okay, all I need are potions and cool drinks. I don't really know what advantage I'm going to get by going around. Because the main okay, then I need to stop Gravios as quick as possible. Tagging him with a paintball maybe will stop him. I think I need to, well, paintball is actually attacking him. I guess another thing is, a lot of times, you gotta realize that sometimes you're probably conversing with a kid. And you think, well, I was a kid once, and I understand how I felt about things. And you know what? That makes sense. It checks out. You're not gonna get into an argument with an actual child. Again, I'm not, not again, but I'm not saying, oh, well, this adult is acting like a child, therefore I'm going to use that as an insult. No. You can be a very opinionated adult, but kids tend to take things, they're more emotional. And they don't have a good, I guess, grasp on that. Again, that comes with experience and time. So, why am I going to get angry over that? I need to actually be more gentle. Because I would want someone to be that way to me, or I would have wanted someone to be that way to me, and I appreciate it when folks that I knew were that way to me. Whenever I grew up, and I said things that were silly about game series I like. It's just even in real life, it's like, oh, I hate tomatoes. You know, instead of saying, oh, well, you're just a kid. It's like, it's kid doesn't like tomatoes. Doesn't matter. Pick around them. Like, okay, I will pick around them because I don't like them. I didn't eat the juice. Wonder if that, like, triggers something. No, he's staying there, which is good. Please grab the item. We do not have time to be sitting there. Again, who am I to expect someone who's younger than me, or even older than me, that hasn't experienced the same things that I have, or had, words, to expect them to react in the same way that I'm going to react, either enjoying something or not. You know, I'm sure you've seen someone rank games. Oh, the game that I find the best isn't up at the very top, or even on the list at all. They don't like that game. When you're younger, you're like, oh, well, that's silly. Or when you just, you know, haven't thought about it that much. I think this is more of a, I've done it so often that I've learned what's wrong and learned what's less conflicting, less rude. Just I think I have. And you know what? There's still more learning that needs to be done. It's like it gets that extra little bit of distance. I think he's scooting on over here. Okay. I'm not running around him as I should be. I don't know if I've had a worse part yet, quest clearing wise. It's not impossible. I'm just not. I'm being lazy. I need to actually try. No more Aya Prey. Let's do Rathian. Sure, why not? You're gonna be in the same area as you were in the nest, or the egg quest. preferably. Yes, you are. Okay, good. It is a bit annoying that they don't die in one hit. What happened? Okay, I think I got hit by one. Oh, please. You have more range than that. They'll probably die eventually. This is dangerous. Because if she tackles, I'm just getting hit. That's how that works. Hey, no damage other than to my sharpness, but that's okay. Oh my goodness, that's hitting the worst part. Please hit better parts. I'm gonna do that too. I'm gonna spin and spin. This won't hit me, right? The fights are just a lot nicer when there's nothing to bother you. Oh, really? The tail must not be that great. Maybe I should just be focusing on the face then. I mean, obviously you got the tail to get the tail part. Ah, map geometry. Please. I'm trying to be friendly towards you. What are you doing? Are you leaving? Please leave. Thank you. Actually, no, that's bad for me. Please. There is a way to do that, but you have to not be in an attack animation and actually roll out quicker. Oh, okay. What hit me? What hit me? Okay, it must have been another one. You hit me through the body, I guess. What, conservation of energy or whatever? The little like statue thing, like where you take the one ball and you hit it and it goes through the 5 others and hits the other one on the other end. Please don't. Ooh. These not dying in one hit is also incredibly annoying. I think the worst part is just that they have so much HP. I guess that's where Lance is really good. Shines, being able to block things. Whoa, she is zooming. She's zooming. We're good. Okay. So much work. Once he gets through there, he's gonna hit me. Ah! Oh, he's finally dead at the very least. Kinda wish I would have rolled there, because I think I'm taking a nice chunky tail hit. Whoa, I survived! Not for long. Okay, maybe for at the very least a short period of time. I don't have any healing though. Wouldn't be a bad time to actually just paintball him around. Either that or just die and go back and get more healing. tactical power nap. What are you just going for a swim, I see. Are you drinking water? No, you're flying. Ah, I see. You are flying in the water. Where are you going? Can I actually leave, or are you just stuck in a weird pattern? I guess you're just stuck in this loop for now. Never mind. All you gotta do is say it and it'll break. She may be going to sleep. We're gonna hope that's the case, but that is not the nest. This is the same area she went to. Yay! Never been more happy to see that tackle actually take place. Okay, get a free hit. Never mind. Thank you, game, for not reading my input. Maybe I'm moving like the input too slowly. It has to be quick. Oh, that does throw you for a loop, a very large loop. Really just trying to be wary of the tail sweep. The horizontal one, not the vertical one. Vertical one happens so rarely. It's got a lot of tail to it as long as you don't, I guess, leave yourself open. Just don't mash buttons, you should be good. That still hits. Bad form, Rathian. Bad form. I guess really good form if you want to kill me, but oh. And I really should. I need to get in the habit of checking my potions every. No! Go, 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 go. You're good? Yes, just do that. Don't actually, you know, do the moving attack. Please, game! I'm pressing the button! There she goes. Get that paintball quickly. I think it hit, but we're gonna just do it again to be safe. Okay. Guess it would make sense that she would be over here. I'm honestly quite surprised at how tough that tail is. Oh, nice. Cool. I mean, here's the funny thing, just bringing it back to that for a quick minute. I don't comment on literally anything. The only time I comment is on this channel. So I'm not getting into these grandiose arguments with people online. I just don't think it's worth my time, but I still, for whatever reason, decide that I like to read arguments. And again, as I said before, I generally feel just kind of bad after reading the entire thing go down, and then it's even worse if nothing ever gets resolved. It's the internet. You're here to win an argument that you're never going to win. In fact, isn't the whole point that you're just going to make someone mad enough to never agree with you? Even you're never going to let them see your points? I mean, that's what happens most of the time. 99% of the time, that's how it works. I'm not saying it never happens the other way, but, you know. Okay, I'm a little upset that I didn't get further than I did. But you gotta have your off days sometimes. Got some practice, I guess, in on the egg quests. The very least was able to experience them. At least it's not Kut-Ku, right? Even though there's more Kut-Ku to be done because I have to capture one, I think. Either way, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to my ramblings. Or if you skipped over it, thank you for watching nonetheless. I don't blame you for that. Either way, I'll see you next time. Have a nice day. Goodbye.